Hello again. All right, so I shared in my first part of this whole stories that I was going to share some stories about how I've kind of figured out and am still figuring out my level of tolerance for my BPD family. So, a couple of things, excuse me. I think that have happened recently. First one was um, the vacuum, which I think was kind of funny. So anyway, Christmas, my family actually bought me a vacuum and sent it to me because I don't live near them. And it said, the card, it was from Amazon. It said, "Love, Mom and Dad." And and it was an appliance, so that was kind of specific. Now, they hadn't gotten me a gift last year, and last year was the first year I had gone no contact. It was the first holiday where I'd gone no contact. So it was interesting to get one this year. And of course, I immediately go, what do I do with this? So, for probably a good 3 weeks, I did nothing. Actually, no, that's not true. For a good 5 weeks, I did nothing. It sat in a box in the back of my house, and I would just ignore it and stuff like that, because it was also the holidays and I was just trying to get through the holidays, because sometimes that can be a really emotional, difficult time for me, of course, so anyway, and I was talking to a friend about it, and he made a great suggestion, which was just do nothing and just see what happens. If they text you or try to reach out to you going, "Did you get the gift?" Like, obviously then there's a sense of kind of like them trying to manipulate you. But if they don't, then maybe it really is just a gift, because I think that's the thing too, is I don't think when someone has BPD that they're like 100% BPD, manipulative all the time, like they have degrees and levels, and and stuff like that, so anyway, so I let it go for 5 weeks. I did nothing with it, and I never heard from my parents. I was really proud of them, honestly. And so I then decided to text them and just text them a thank you, and so I did. I was very short, said, and I did this actually after the holidays because I wanted to get through the holidays first and know that I could handle that before I even texted them and stuff. So I texted them and said, "I hope you had a great holidays. Thank you for the vacuum." And I think that was it. That's all I said. And their response was, "We love you. The ball is in your court." And so, and that's okay. That's fine. There's, I don't know, a lot behind what was meant and implied by those words, of course I know that, like, my mother is manifests the victim mentality of BPD. So of course they're the victims and I'm the bad person because I chose to go no contact with them. After 20 years of trying to make it work between us, but they just weren't ever open. So anyway, so of course, they're going, "Well, the ball's in your court," of course, because they're the victims and I'm the bad guy, and I get that, and stuff. But yeah, so I had to think through, honestly, the question of, should I keep the vacuum or not? Can I tolerate receiving this gift? And so I did what I said in the first video. I tuned into myself, because I wanted to hear from them first and hear, like, how were they going to respond. And I felt like actually how they responded was pretty okay, pretty standard, And so I tuned into myself. I looked at that. I looked at the idea of what would it be like to vacuum with that thing, like what would it be like to have it in my house and have it a part of my house, and things like that. And just kind of really kind of watched my heart, mind, body, spirit, and, my heart went, I can receive this gift with appreciation and be like, that's nice. It's nice of them to acknowledge, me, and not look at it as me like crying while I'm vacuuming because, of the situation or whatever, or feel manipulated. Mind wise, for me, gifts have always been not as big of a deal. It's not quite my love language, I guess you would say, when I'm receiving from someone. So, gifts are nice. They don't have as much significance for me personally. So, for me, mind-wise, I'm like, I don't think my vacuuming with this thing is going to make my life harder. I think it's going to be kind of neutral in a way. Body-wise, and, then too, of course, and, it's like, I don't think the level of stress is going to really affect me that much. And spiritually, am I going to come away from this experience feeling kind of devalued or anything because I'm using a vacuum that my borderline mother provided me, I just kind of went, I don't think so. I think some way, like, I think I'm going to feel kind of proud of myself that, like, I was able to receive this gift and not take it really personally, and also not feel guilty about it either, but I can go, oh, well, that was nice, and just leave it at that, So anyway, because my parents left it at that, which was great, so now, of course, if my mom had said, like, well, it's too bad you couldn't be here, or, well, sure, we had no choice but to send you the gift, anything like that, then obviously I'm going to attach a lot more negativity to the vacuum. And so, of course, I was going to be donating it to, like, a local charity or something, So, anyway, so there's that one incident. The other one, too, is my sister. I love my sister so much. My sister is mentally handicapped. And so she is, like, 26, but she's going on about 6 years old mentally and emotionally and stuff like that. Cutest thing in the world. I absolutely love my sister. So unlike anybody in the family, she's the one that has been, I think our relationship has been the least affected by me going no contact. So anyway, her birthday is actually today. And so, I just have to be thoughtful about this, of, like, thinking through, like, can I handle calling them? Can I handle, because my sister's mentally handicapped, so she can't call me, unless she requests my dad to dial the number to talk to me and stuff. And, so so what would have to happen is I would have to call them, So I thought at first, I'm like, well, let's just play it safe and let's just send them a text. And so I did. I sent a text to Keisha, and just said, happy birthday. I love you so much, And my dad actually responded and said, you can totally call if you want to. And I'm like, sweet, that's great, So I did. So I called, but before I called, I had to go through my whole tolerance thing and go, like, am I ready? Am I up for doing this? Because it's painful to talk to her every time. And I'll explain why in a bit. My visual, because I had to visualize ahead of time, like, what would it be like to talk to her on the phone and she starts crying about the fact that we can't talk to each other, or like how, or see each other, like how do I handle that, and stuff. And so, and I felt like I would feel sad, but now I've put enough space between me and them, and there's been enough time now and I've done enough healing that, like, I'm not going to beat up on myself about it. I'll miss her and I love her. And, but I'm not going to hold on to the stress that much, or to whatever degree that I'm going, if I do get it to a degree where, like, tonight I'm going to have insomnia, like, I've got, things in my life now, that I can use to help me, like, relieve and release that stress to the point where, I should be able to sleep. And if I can't sleep tonight, is it still worth me talking to my sister? It is, like, obviously sometimes it's like, look, you got to go through the stress because the stress is still worth it, So anyway, so I did. I called my sister and I sang her happy birthday in a really weird, goofy way, which just makes her laugh. And that laugh and sound is like one of my favorite, I might cry, is one of my favorite things in the world, and so we talked, and we talked for a good 20 minutes, which is a long time for her, with her condition and stuff. And, and she, and of course I was talking to a 6-year-old, so, so we keep it super shallow and super light and stuff, but she brought up a couple of things. Of course, she asked me when am I going to come visit her, and, she asked if I would stay with her at the house, and I said no. I said I would stay in a hotel, and we talked about the hotel for a while, and then, and now it's turned into, a thing that she says now every time we talk on the phone, which is, I'm sorry Mom made you sad. And that's hard, but I was okay with it. And I said, well, thank you. That's really nice. He said, it's okay. It's totally okay, Key. Like, no worries. And I just left, I was just really positive, and I was really, bright sounding about it, like, no worries. It's okay. And she was just quiet, and then she just changed the subject, which was great, and and it was, and at one point it was starting to get painful, of course, because I'm listening to her, and I so want to be there in her life, I want to be, the one at her birthday party, and, giving her back rubs, because I know how much she loves those, and, taking her out and stuff like that. And I just had to go, I will do that stuff. It's just not going to happen, obviously, today. There's some things with my business I've got to get financially in order to afford to really go, because I have to travel. I have to get I'd have to rent a hotel. I'd have to rent a car and stuff like that. Like, it's not convenient at all for me to visit. So I have to put all of those things in place, because I don't have, any support there. And, but that's cool, is that, like, I feel confident and good enough to go, like, but I will have that will happen. And that way it eases the stress, and stuff like that. And I've also learned too that, like, if I'm stressful on the phone with her, like, she gets stressful too. She gets stressed out easily. Of course, she's a 6-year-old mentally and stuff. So it was really great to be able to chat and laugh with her and be fun and silly on the phone, and acknowledge, that we're not able to see each other right now, but that's okay. And, and I hung up, and, and stuff. And of course, like, I'm a little sad, and I probably need to, talk with a friend or two today, kind of handle that sadness and stuff, but I can handle that. I can handle the tolerance of that, you know, and stuff. Now, if my mom had gotten on the phone, and, you know, and started in on me, or my dad had started in on me, I would have hung up, because my tolerance level would have immediately gone off, you know, the charts and stuff like that, because of the stress of dealing with them and talking to them, and how, you know, how they truly believe and see and view me, and how they feel like, you know, have every right to, how they have every right to just, you know, believe that their children, you know, are, you know, are not good enough, and all that other stuff that they have done or said, and how disappointed they are in me, and stuff, because I'm not open enough for them, because I don't, you know, anyway, it's a long story, which you probably have already heard, if you listen to my very first video and stuff. So anyway, but yeah, so that's how I use that stuff. You know, is use this whole, like, how do I determine my tolerance? You know, I've obviously applied it in other ways with other relationships too. You know, just the other day, I grabbed lunch with a friend, and we, she was already kind of in a tough mood, and she wanted to talk about, I said something about politics, and she wanted to talk about it, and she just really wanted to get into a debate, and that's just not me. I'm a peacemaker. I'm not a debater, and you know, and I could feel it. I could feel my heart. I could feel like I was feeling uncomfortable. I was feeling my mind. I could tell I was just starting to get more negative in my thinking. My body started to even tense up, you know, and my spirit. Like, as soon as I uttered the words, well, you're right and I'm wrong, you know, like, even though I said it in a joking way, my spirit was like, you're feeling devalued. Get out, you know, and stuff like that. Now, of course, it wasn't my friend's intention at all. Like, you know, she just likes to spar with people and stuff, and that's great for her, and that's fine. I'm just not that person, you know. So anyway, I had even said to her towards the beginning of the conversation, I feel like we should change the subject. But she didn't want to, and I thought, okay, well, let's just see if I can tolerate this, and I couldn't. So I immediately excused myself and went to the restroom and gave myself a couple minutes to just kind of get some space between me and what happened, and reduce that stress in me, and to come out. And I gave her a big smile, you know, and stuff like that. And I said, you ready to go? You know, like, let's head out, you know, and stuff. And she apologized and said, you know, I'm sorry. Like, she's like, you know, she's like, I love to debate. And I'm like, I get that. I said, I don't. It's just not my thing. And it was cool that I could just be that honest with her and stuff. And she's like, okay, great. You know, like, and, yeah, you know, so I think that, like, you know, that's being able to share your tolerance with someone, and for them to respect and honor that, which is cool, you know. And because of that, obviously, she and I are going to still remain friends and stuff like that, which is good. And yeah, you know, so I think that, hopefully these are just stories that help you see, like, kind of how, I think we adult children of BPDs, you know, can, handle the different things that come our way, handle the things that come into our lives and stuff like that, you know, and to also be empowered to say no, and to remove ourselves, you know, and stuff like that. So yeah, feel free to share your own stories and comments and thoughts, and I hope you have a good day. Thanks.